welcome back to Sonia's Prep. Today we're back in the kitchen and cooking another Shabbat meal prep, but with a twist. I want to make this the quickest Shabbat prep ever. I'm exhausted. This was my first week back at work after my summer break. It's the first week of kids going back to school, and all of you moms and dads know out there how stressful this week is. I'm just running around getting last minute supplies, getting the kids ready, making sure all the lunches are packed and the snacks are made. So I just want to be out of the kitchen as fast as possible. So if you want to see how I get my Shabbat prep done in a jiffy, is that the right word? Then come and join me. Let's roll up our sleeves and let's get prepping. So let me tell you what's on the menu, what I want to make very quickly. I have some lamb bones with like a little bit of meat on the side of it. So I get a whole side of lamb, and then there are some bits over there that come with just a small portion of bone and a little bit of meat. I never know what to do with them. So I'm going to put them into a brazier with some baby potatoes and some sauce and cook that away. I also want to make some fried flounder, Sirkanis, which is a rice and chickpea dish that I've shown previously on this channel. I also want to make Osvo in a new pot, and I want to make some Gefilta fish but with a Moroccan twist, and a few salads. And I'm very, very excited. This portion of the video is sponsored by Caraway. Let me tell you a little bit more about them. I am, first of all, so super excited. I've used them for a little bit now. I am in love. For those of you who have cast iron pots who have like an enamel coating, you know it's very rare that they have a black interior coating. Most of my Dutch ovens have this white interior coating, and it just gets dirty after a while. So I cook a lot and I use my cookware very, very often. So I was so pleasantly surprised that this interior is black, and it's going to last me a very long time. If you followed me from the beginning, you know that my go-to were always the aluminum foil trays whenever I was cooking. But throughout the years, I've made better lifestyle choices, realizing that certain things are harmful for you, like those foil trays, like those PFO coated pots and pans. So I've got rid of all of them, and I'm slowly but surely starting to compile a better set of pots and pans for the health of my family, so that it could also be beneficial for us eating in a healthy way. Not only does it matter the types of food that we're putting into our body and giving to our kids, but also how we are cooking them. That's why I'm loving these cast iron pots from Caraway. Caraway is a non-toxic kitchenware brand that offers high quality kitchen essentials, clean and sustainable cookware. It's low maintenance, it's coated with a natural non-toxic enamel, and it cleans very easily with just soap and water, and there's no seasoning required. It doesn't rust or have that really weird smell that regular cast iron pans have. If you remember my last week of meals, I was looking for the perfect grill pan, and I finally found one. Not only is it cast iron, but because it has this enamel coating, it's easier to maintain. There's no fussing and no seasoning. I don't have to be worried about oiling it and taking care of it. This is going to last me a very long time. I also didn't know that it only takes 2.5 minutes for the regular PFO coated pans to start emitting toxic fumes, and you don't have to worry about any of that with these Caraway cast iron enamel coated pots. If you're looking to make a change in your kitchen like I did, I definitely recommend these Caraway pots. It comes with a skillet, a grill pan, a brazier, and a Dutch oven. And if you do this bundle, it's going to save you $150 with my coupon code as well. You could type in Sonia's Prep to get 10% off of your Caraway pot. Their last launch did sell out in 13 days, so don't wait on this. Definitely go put in my code and get your savings and get these amazing pots for yourselves. For our first recipe, we're going to get started on the lamb that I'm going to be using the brazier with. So I have half a very large onion here that I'm dicing up. The onion is diced. Over here I have a handful of radishes that I've cleaned, and about 8 or 10 little baby potatoes. And here is the lamb that I've already washed. I'm gonna add about a tablespoon or 2 of avocado oil into the brazier, all of the meat, all of the potatoes and radishes, and that half of a large onion. I'm gonna season everything. You can do this to taste. You could add in whatever seasonings you like. You can use just Montreal steak seasoning if that's what you prefer. I'm gonna do my typical cumin, coriander, salt, and black pepper because I like that flavor profile. And I really wanted to use some chili sauce, but I didn't have any, so I figured the next best thing is this duck sauce that I found in the fridge that I had. So I'm gonna add about, I would say, half a cup of this or so. Gosh, it's so jiggly. I think that's good enough. Gonna put on a glove and mix that all up. That's it. I'm gonna place that into the oven and let that cook for about 2 hours, and that'll be done. So I covered it with the lid. It's gonna go in at 400 degrees and into a preheated oven for about 2 hours. Next up on the menu is Sirkanis. It's the rice and chickpea dish. I have 2 cups of short grain rice over here that I'm washing. I'm going to wash it very thoroughly until the water runs clear. The rice is going in. I also have 1 can of garbanzo beans that I've washed and drained using a sieve as well. A week ago was making a meal and I just chopped up extra meat, so I'm going to be adding it in here. I have about 1 cup of chopped beef. So this is a great time-saving tip for those days when you're not in the mood to sit there chop stuff up. Just do it one time, put it in the freezer, and you have it ready whenever you need it. I'm also going to be adding in 1 onion. This is a very large onion, so I cut it in half, but 1 regular size onion will do. And then I'm using about 5 very skinny potatoes. Sorry, I meant to choose 5. I know how to count, guys. This is for another meal. I just peeled it all at once. So this should be fine. Or if you're using a large one, then 1.5 large carrots would go well. I'm going to cut them into cubes. You want them to be a little smaller than the chickpea. So for reference, this is, oh, I'm crying. Oh, this is the size. The carrots go in, and that's it. All of the components are in here. Now we're going to season it up. As for the seasoning, we need about 1 teaspoon of coriander, 1 teaspoon of cumin, let's measure the salt, about 2 teaspoons of salt, half a teaspoon of black pepper, and about 2 teaspoons of the chicken consomme, half of a cup of avocado oil or vegetable oil, and half of a cup of water goes in. And people are always shocked in this recipe that for 2 cups of rice, I'm only using half a cup of water and half a cup of oil. It's because of everything else that's in there. The chickpeas, the meat, the onions, the carrots, they all give off its own juices, and your rice is going to cook. And if for some reason it doesn't, whether maybe the pan that you're using is very high conduction, has a high conduction of heat, or if your oven is just on a hotter setting, then after 1.5 hours, you'll check on it. If it's for some reason not cooked, which has never happened to me, you could always add another 1/4 cup of water. Give everything a very good mix. Cover it with a foil and place it in the oven at 400 degrees for 1.5 hours, but you're gonna mix it halfway through. So at the 45-minute mark, you're going to uncover it, give it a good mix, and place it back into the oven covered for 45 more minutes. This recipe also goes really well with dark meat chicken or chicken breast. I actually prefer it with chicken breast. It's just I had the beef already cut up and I wanted things to go smoother and faster. So that's what I'm using today. Into the oven she goes. Okay, we're moving right along very quickly. The next thing that I want to make is the Moroccan twist Gefilta fish. So I just get a frozen Gefilta fish. I'm going to take it out of its packaging. I'm gonna open up the paper as well. Make sure to get all the paper so that it's stuck. Okay, pretty sure I got it all. Now I'm using a pan, placing it inside, just like that. And I'm gonna make my typical Moroccan fish sauce. So let's take you to the pan and I'll show you just how I make it. Now the skillet right there is preheating. I'm going to make the sauce. This is 1 heaping tablespoon of paprika and about 1.5 teaspoons of turmeric, with 1/2 cup of avocado oil and 1 teaspoon of salt. I'm gonna mix all of that thoroughly. And now my sauce is ready. When the skillet gets nice and hot, I'm gonna add in about 2 tablespoons or so of oil. I have 4 garlic cloves that I've sliced here, 1 red chili, and 1 green chili, and parsley. I'm gonna cover up the Gefilta fish and also put it into the oven at 400 degrees for about an hour. I'll check on it and see if it needs to cook a little bit longer. The last meal that I want to make is my osvo. It's an overnight stew, and we're Bukharian, so we make it all the time, every single week. It's a stew that I usually always make in my non-stick pans or pots, but I'm really, like I said, trying to avoid doing that. And now that I have the caraway pots, I'm going to be using it in the Dutch oven. I've done Dutch ovens previously. It's worked fine. I'm just curious how it's going to come out in the caraway pot. So I'm going to I'm gonna puree all of the vegetables that I usually do, put it into a container, and then tomorrow after work, I'll place it all in the Dutch oven and get it cooking. So into the food processor, I'm adding in 1 tomato, 1 onion, 1 carrot, and 1 green apple. You can definitely cut them all by hand into very small cubes, but I have a food processor and it just goes by very quickly this way, and we want to get out of the kitchen very fast, so I'm utilizing everything that I can. And there's the apple. I do peel the apple and take out the core. next I'm frying up the flounder. I'm using the caraway skillet, adding in a little bit of oil once it's heated through. I'm going to first make the egg mixture, which is just egg with a tablespoon of water, some salt, black pepper, and garlic powder. And going to mix all of that up really well. Now what I'm going to be doing is taking the flounder, basting it in the all-purpose flour, and then into the egg. And we're gonna fry this up. One last thing that I wanted to do for Shabbat is do some baking, but it's okay. I'm not going to be doing the baking this time. I always have a package of these Canary chocolate chip cookies in my freezer, and I'm very happy that I do because I always want something sweet for Shabbat, but I just don't want to be making it this week. So I rolled it out. I have my chocolate chip cookies here. I'm going to bake it in the oven for 350 degrees for about 10 minutes, and we're going to have yummy dessert for Shabbat. I also batch cook my challahs and sourdough, so I have some stuff in the freezer. So I have one sourdough in the freezer that I'm defrosting, and I have 2 challahs that I'm going to be defrosting. That's basically it. Tomorrow after work, I'm gonna come home and do a few light salads and dips, and I'm done in the kitchen in record time. The fish is all done. It's fried up. I'm gonna let that cool off and then put it away into the refrigerator. Everything is in the oven. That's already almost done. So the meat is almost ready. The Gefilta fish and the Sirkanis, I gave it a mix after 45 minutes, and now it's back in there. And the cookies are in the oven. So we're done. Very excited. So happy. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video of the quickest Shabbat meal prep that I can possibly do for my family. We're not hosting. It's going to be a very simple Shabbat. I'm going to be relaxing. A well-deserved Shabbat relaxation is also needed, absolutely. Don't forget to use my coupon code for your 10% off your caraway pots. Use Sonia's Prep to get that discount code. And Shabbat Shalom from my family to yours.